Joining me now, NBC correspondent Jacob Soboroff, author of Separated: Inside an American Tragedy, and Lee Gelernt, deputy director of ACLU's Immigrants' Rights Project. Welcome both. Jacob, it's only a few days, the pushback, and part of the problem is clearly getting their arms around what they know about at least the 600-plus kids who still have not been located is difficult, and what to do about the backup at the border and how to get this accomplished. It's a major challenge, clearly.
I mentioned that last night, Andrea, to Rachel, that the complexity of the separations, and Lee can speak to this too, is part of the reason I think that this has taken so long. The administration is really getting their hands around all this. And, you know, that number, 611, is so familiar to everyone. That is the number of children whose parents can't be reached by the government or have not yet been reached. But actually, the number of still separated parents and children is far greater than that. It might be thousands. And I actually want to show you a little piece of tape of one of those families. We know where this father and son from Honduras are. The father is in Honduras. The son is here in Northern California. But they remain separated. They've been separated for almost 3 years. And it's a situation so many find themselves in. Take a look at this, Andrea.
An officer told me, "Give me your children's things because you are going to different places." And I didn't know what was going to happen to my child.
Do you get to talk to your dad like this a lot on video?
Yeah.
Are you hoping to get anything for your birthday?
Yeah.
What do you think you're going to get, or what do you want to get, buddy?
My dad.
So that is one of many very tough conversations I've had with still separated families. That one was from late last year. But Andrea, it's not just about what happens to these families. We are waiting on word from the administration about what they're going to do about the MPP program, the Remain in Mexico program that's made tens of thousands of people wait in dangerous conditions in Mexico, about the Title 42 program that has literally expelled, I think, over 100,000, if not more than that, people without any access to due process or legal counsel. The list goes on and on. Legal immigration and restrictions placed on that. All of those have yet to be answered. Obviously, there's a bunch of interest, keen interest in the family separations. And now we're told by Jen Psaki that's going to be coming on Tuesday.
And Lee, you work with a lot of these families. What are they telling you? I mean, that was just heartbreaking, that father and son. That's just one small example.
Yeah, I think that video says everything. I mean, this is a human tragedy. We can talk about all these abstract policy arguments and all the aggregate statistics, but it comes down to these families and these children who have been essentially abused. That's what the medical profession calls it, child abuse. And so we are looking for the Biden administration to help us, but not just find the 611 families that are still missing. That's a small piece of it ultimately. We now know through our ACLU litigation that 5,500 children were separated. We need the Biden administration to provide relief to all 5,500. And that means allowing them to come back to the United States to reunify safely in the United States with their children, like the family you showed in the video. It also means providing a path to permanent legal status, stopping them from being deported, restitution, including medical care, some measure of accountability. It can't stop at just finding the 611. That's a big part of it, but it's not the whole part.
And just the other day, a Texas judge, a federal judge in Texas, halted, the Biden pause on deportations with a constitutional challenge. Do you know where that case stands? Is that a temporary resumption of deportation?
That's a temporary restraining order. Yeah, the ACLU has gotten involved in that case. The federal government will be pushing back. I think we hope that the federal government will ultimately prevail. The federal government has always had discretion to figure out priorities and removal, but right now there is a halt on that moratorium placed by the federal judge. So there's a lot for the Biden administration to work on, as Jacob said, but I do think family separation is one of those unique moments where there was such revulsion by the American people across the ideological spectrum that the Biden administration has enormous political leeway to get this done, to reunite these families while also working on some of the more difficult problems.
And Jacob, you've seen the horrible bottleneck at below the border of the migrants who are waiting there under terrible conditions, subject to all sorts of to criminal action as well as to disease, famine.
Yeah, as actually, Andrea, Alita Garcia pointed out on Twitter this morning, I thought it was a great point. The family separation policy was the most extreme, most horrific extension of the restrictive immigration policies, cruel immigration policies of this administration. But the Remain in Mexico program, was looking to further those goals too, basically dismantling of the asylum system so that people couldn't come in. And what you ended up with is tens of thousands of people waiting in dangerous conditions on the other side of the border. And to this day, there is not a resolution. The president has said he would unwind that policy. And again, those are details that everyone, I think, who follows this closely is waiting to hear from the president on Tuesday.
Well, Jacob and Lee, you've both been heroic on this subject. Thanks so much for all of your work.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.